Hello and welcome. This is NTVN, New Tech Vintage Nerds. I'm AJ.
I'm Alex.
And today we're going to talk about what's in your workshop.
Run that intro.
Before we go into what's in our workshop, we got listeners. Yay! And one of those listeners asked a question about last episode about
Really?
the Stream Deck, the 15-button version or the version with 6 buttons and 4 dials. I'm not sure exactly.
Small, medium, large, or the small, large, extra large, like that. You know, they don't really know how to count those guys. Yeah.
Question was, why should you or why would you choose the one with the 15 buttons you're showing right now or the one with the dials?
This is the V1 actually, so this is not the V2.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't pick the one with the dials, but you're more into that stuff, so maybe you've got an answer for him.
Well, I basically said the same thing. Why would you buy it when a lot of things you push on or off, like the air conditioning or sounds or something like that? Why would you need the control to be able to turn a knob instead of pushing a button? And the only thing I got was I can see something with audio, like how much bass or treble is in your audio, or how hard the airco is working, or the heating. That's something that I would select the button for. But then again, well, home automation, the home knows what I want. That's pretty useless. I'd rather have the buttons to put something on or off instead of fine-tuning everything on that thing. But that's me.
So my question then would be, how often do you actually modify the setting to a random value other than standard? And I mean, if you answer that question with, well, every time I hear music, I tune my the sound image to that specific number. Okay, then I would say, hey, by all means, buy the one with the knobs because this one's for you.
Yeah.
Or if you regularly turn your volume up and down and it varies throughout the day or depending on the song that's playing or whatever. I mean, yes, there I would see added value of the knobs. But other than that, I would suggest to go for the 15 button one because generally, well, that's my observation anyway. I tend to set that and then leave it at a specific volume, unless it has some disturbance or there is some reason to modify it. But other than that, I generally do not touch it again.
Yeah.
So I would say, define a couple of profiles for yourselves. I don't know, normal, loud, muted, or something, and then assign that to a button.
Yeah.
That would be easier, and you could even do that in specific scenarios. Or when I push it, it goes loud, or when I push it, it goes mute, and when I push it again, it goes back to normal, or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
It's not that you would have to assign 3 buttons to it. You could do that smartly.
Yeah. The same goes for me. I can think of a use case for photo editing or video editing when you don't have specialized hardware. Then you can use one knob to go forward and
Does
back.
that really work?
Well, I got a specific board for video editing, DaVinci Resolve Speed Editor. That one is great. There's a knob on it where I can scroll through my timelines, and that works. I also have one for photo editing where I can put the hues and the brightness and stuff like that with a slider. It's battery operated, and I'm pretty sure batteries are empty.
I've bought a specific keyboard. Maybe you can remember the one with the yellow keys.
Yeah.
I bought a specific keyboard for Photoshop. I couldn't. the keyboard is fine. I mean, it's a WASD keyboard that you can hit you can hit someone over the head with it, and he will not get up. But so from a build quality and the keys themselves are wonderful, but they are marked on the keys with all the shortcuts and all the specific functions in Photoshop. I've got two problems with that. First of all, I could never get used to all the shortcuts. That's one, and that's probably because I use Photoshop. I've been using Photoshop since version 2.5, since it came on a single 3.5-inch floppy. So yeah,
That's long ago.
that's a long time, right? Then again, they've changed so many keys over the years and added so many shortcuts over the years that a lot of the shortcuts that I have on that keyboard do something else than what the key says, to
Yeah.
put it mildly. So
Yeah.
that's one thing. And the second thing is, I'm not as I have been using Photoshop for a very, very long time, I am not a very frequent Photoshop user, so I still have my Adobe subscription, and I've got Photoshop on my Mac, and I've got Photoshop on my Windows editing station, which is back in the corner over there. But I start that thing, I don't know, once a month, or when we went out and about with cameras, and I come back and I bring some pictures home. And
Yeah.
then I pick a few from the selection that we made, or I make a selection from the ones that we made, and then I added them and maybe use them for, I don't know, for a print or something. So maybe Photoshop gets booted up 12 times a year ish.
Yeah.
It's not worth it, and that's the problem. All right, and then you have to ask yourself, do I want to buy? And those between these specified sliders and knobs and turns and things, they are bloody expensive.
Yeah.
Um, is it worth your while? And then my answer is no. You know what? I'll just pick my mouse and I'll
Yeah.
draw the slider that Adobe thought up, and I'm good.
Yeah. I agree. For things that you don't do very often, it's not that useful. I
No.
see with my speed editor, I use that thing a lot, but also the keyboard shortcuts on my Mac for editing, I use them a lot in Photoshop as well as in DaVinci, because I want to skip most silences, and the only way to do that there are two ways to do it with AI, and AI is great. AI is everywhere, but AI doesn't do a job very well in that circumstance. So I let AI do the thing, and then I still need to go in and make uh, certain frames longer or shorter, because it thinks that there's nothing interest. Well, there's silence. I was going to say nothing interesting, but there's silence. But then it's quiet, or you pronounce something with an S sound. So I have the habit of using shortcuts to cut a clip, and then again a few frames forward, then again, and I see it visually when I look at the waveform from the audio, where there's silence and when there's not.
It goes down, you select it. When it goes up, you stop selecting it.
Yeah, it's strange that AI doesn't do that, but so that's where I use shortcut keyboard shortcuts. Whoa, it's been a long day. That's where I use the keyboard shortcuts.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, we're already another day in. So no, that's where I use the keyboard shortcuts a lot, and it helps because I do that a lot these days. And
We have to. I do want to emphasize. I am a shortcut key user, so I use a lot of shortcut keys. That is the word. I use a lot of shortcut keys in Windows and Mac, and I mean I still use all their four in Windows, for instance, and Apple Q and whatnot. So I am a shortcut user, but to remember all these specific individual shortcut keys and shortcut links, that Adobe thought up in Photoshop, or maybe for you in DaVinci Resolve. Yeah, well, if you spend a lot of time in the application, you probably start to remember them, and at some point you know them all by heart. But
Yeah.
I'm not a very frequent user, like I mentioned. So
So a
yes, I do
Stream Deck,
use.
yes, but
Yeah, and
specific
you can
keyboards, eh.
exactly, and if you want to, I mean, you can still assign shortcut keys to the Stream Deck. Right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
nothing prevents you from doing that. And one of the wonderful things of Stream Deck is the fact that you can actually create a button layout per application. So if you boot up Photoshop or DaVinci Resolve or whatever, and it is full screen in the focus window, that's important.
Yeah.
Then the Stream Deck software will notice that this is the focus window. And if you have assigned a button layout to that specific application, it will display that.
Yeah.
So that is a wonderful technology, and I really love working with that because, well, I'm using it at my Mac now, and using it mainly in well, I use it for PowerPoint presentation, for creating and giving PowerPoint presentations, but also in Zoom and Teams. And I've made just different screens for that. And as soon as I click on a Zoom window, it gives me all the Zoom controls. And when I go back to the PowerPoint window, it gives me all the PowerPoint controls.
Yeah.
So that is super. So that way you can fairly easily assign a button layout to a specific application and just use it with that application. And you don't need that whole customized buttons, knobs, sliders, and whatever. I mean, this is first of all, they're not cheap, but um, they're worth it. Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
And they're versatile. So that's why I recommend them.
Yeah, exactly. Same here. So look at your own use case and think if you really, really need it. It's nice to have, but just go for the extra buttons.
There you go. Question
So,
answered.
yeah, question answered, I think. Well, let's see next episode if he's got enough.
Actually, let us know if you think this was worth it.
Yeah. From the computer to the workshop. I mean, our office almost always looks like a workshop, but yeah, it's a different kind of work.
Yeah, that's true.
But what's in your workshop?
Do you have a rocket in your workshop?
No, I have NASA.
Oh, we could combine the two.
No, but we wanted to talk about workshops. I tend to go a little overboard with all things I purchase. I know that's not a shock for you. On the other hand, you also have the tendency to buy good stuff and things that you need or want. And if you want them, you find a need. That's not a problem. But what's really in your workshop? What do you do there?
Well, that's interesting because I am picky when it comes to tools, and I decided to go for the world ecosystem. I think 7 years back, 8 years back ish,
Mm-hmm.
and I stuck with that. So why would you do that? First of all, if
Yeah.
you're as a listener are wondering why do you pick a specific ecosystem? Well, there's a very practical reason. These devices come with a battery pack, and at a specific point in time, you've gathered quite a collection of these tools.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, I think I've got 7 or 8 DeWalt appliances, various functions,
Yeah.
and these batteries are damn expensive.
Mm-hmm.
A five amp battery is roughly 50, 60 euros right now, which is an 18 volt battery.
Yeah.
So that's not cheap. I mean, the average device that I have, the average appliance, is about, I don't know, 200 ish euros. So the battery is roughly a quarter of the amount the device costs if
Yeah,
you
if
need
not
to
more.
purchase exactly. So it is a wonderful thing that you can actually swap out the batteries between the devices. So I do have to admit, over the years I've gathered also a nice amount of batteries. So
Mhm.
I think I can actually put one in every appliance.
Oh, whoa.
I'm afraid, but
Mm.
uh, so that is a reason why you pick an ecosystem, because you can swap out the battery easily between from one device to the next, and then you're not standing there empty-handed or having to bring 16 chargers because you have 16 different devices. That is really, really, really annoying.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you don't need batteries in every device. We had a lawnmower of the same brand as our cordless drills, Makita. But why do you need a lawnmower on batteries? I mean, it's good for the environment, but with a wire, it also mows the lawns. Eh.
My streamer is on batteries. It's actually also the volt.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And my lawnmower is well, that is actually a different brand and a different battery, unfortunately. Um, but then again, and this is also a fun fact, I still have tools from my dad,
yeah.
power tools from my dad
Yeah.
in my garage. The jigsaw I have is a Bosch wired jigsaw my dad bought probably 30 or 40 years ago. I don't know.
Okay, and it's still working.
Wonderfully.
Oh, nice.
So I recently looked at a DeWalt one, actually the barrel model if you are into the DeWalt system, which looks very interesting. So it doesn't have the standard D grip, but it's got actually the barrel grip, which is apparently better for the handling.
Hmm.
Don't know if you've even considered looking at them. Anyway, um,
I didn't.
well, I did. Then I looked at the price tag. Okay, so this is another 220 euros. I don't think so. I mean, how often do I actually use my current jigsaw? I don't know, 4 or 5 times a year.
Yeah,
I'll stick with that. And if it breaks down, if it ever breaks down, I'll buy one from the world when that time comes, and I'll stick with the old Bosch one,
yeah,
the 40-year-old Bosch one that I have now.
yeah.
So there are actually tools in there that are as old as I am.
Okay.
I think I still have my dad's drill, although I did buy another one for that, because battery drills, first of all, that is the invention of the century.
Yeah.
Not having to hassle with a cord every time. Second, they are much more powerful, specifically the drill hammer that I have. And thirdly, they now come with all kinds of anti-dust attachments. I actually have a drill hammer with a vacuum, which is specifically at the tip of the drill, sucking away all the dust that comes out of the hole you're drilling, and that is a wonderful attachment.
Hmm.
Um, that would all not be available for the power drill my dad bought 50-ish years ago.
Yeah. Well,
So
these days you could print it with a 3D printer, obviously, but
you could print something with a 3D printer that could maybe sort of do the same thing, but you'd still have to pull out your vacuum cleaner to
yeah,
attach to that thing to actually have that dust sucked away. So
yeah.
I'm very happy with that drill. So yeah, that's not what I'm using. But other than that, um, mostly the old stuff. Like I said, what do I have? I've got a circular saw. I've got a the multi tool. Um, I've got the screwdriver. I've got the small drill and the power hammer, the drill hammer.
Yeah.
Um, I've got the grass streamer and a hedge cutter.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
think that's
wow.
about it. I think that's about it.
I was just thinking. I got a circular saw on batteries. I got the impact driver, the cordless drill itself, the hedge trimmer. I totally forgot about that. But also a drill hammer, like the one you have from the Walt, but this one is green bluish Makita. Um, and I'm keeping forgetting one. The multi tool. It's a big thing. Anyway, so I got like 6 batteries collected through the years as well. And I must admit, I only use 2 of the batteries most of the time. It's the 5 amp hours.
I
And
only
it's,
I only have 5 amp hours.
yeah, I got them from a sale where I got five, I 5, 4, and 3, I think. So two of five, 2 of 4, and 2 of 3. But when I gotta put them up in my workshop, so I most of the time grab the 5 amp hours and I just switch between the drill and the circular saw.
I have to swap them out a bit because I've got them actually mounted all on top of each other,
Hmm.
and I usually grab the bottom ones because, well, they're easier to get to. Just
Yeah,
play
yeah,
it simple. So the top ones hardly ever get used. So maybe I should swap them out. Um, no, actually, I bought 6 battery packs in total, and then I bought some device from. Oh, I forgot the. I've actually forgot one device actually. The reciprocal.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's the one I was forgetting.
Yeah,
I got one.
that thing is a beast. That
Yeah.
is not the one that we worked with because that one actually died when we were doing our front yard.
That's
Um,
strange.
yeah, that was I don't know. I bought that one secondhand and it was abused and
Mm.
it just died.
Not by me. Let's
No,
make
no,
that
no, no,
clear.
no. It was abused when it got here.
Yeah.
But I actually bought, I think, the impact driver, so the electric screwdriver impact thing,
Hmm.
and the I think I bought that off eBay. When I um, if my memory serves me well, and it actually the ad actually said it would come without batteries, and it was I think it was 100 euros or something, so it was really cheap. And I opened the box and then, hey, look here. There are 2 5 amp batteries in there.
Oh, nice.
I didn't order those, but they are worth another 100 euros. So thank you. Thank you, seller. I don't think that was meant to be. And I asked him, they came with batteries included. Was that meant? Yes, that was the package.
Okay.
Okay, I'm
Nice.
fine. I'm done with that.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah.
now I've got 8 batteries.
Yeah. So next to the cordless devices, do you have any wired? I mean, I have a table saw, a hand planer. I got a jigsaw, a drill that I hardly use, and obviously CNC because hey, computers and automation.
Yeah, I've got a planer, but I hardly use it. I
Hmm.
think it's actually your old one.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, we have, well, actually, my wife bought that because she liked it a lot.
Hmm.
The Black and Decker mouse, the sander, the
Oh
small
yeah.
small palm sized one, which is strangely enough really really good.
Hmm.
I really like that thing. The only downside is it has a cord.
Yeah.
Um, but that thing is amazing, and I love working with it because it's just so easy to go into the corners, and it's a wonderful device. So that's one is corded. So the jigsaw, like I said, which is my old my dad's old one, um, and I think I've got a column drill.
Oh yeah.
That is also wired and corded, not wired. Um, I think that is mainly it.
Hmm.
Yeah, the vacuum cleaner.
Oh yeah.
Well, I've got two. I've got the Volt vacuum cleaner, which I forgot about that one. That also runs on batteries.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but fun thing, that thing does run on batteries, but it also has a power plug, so you can run it off of the mains. But
Uh-oh.
and this is strange, it is more powerful when you run it off the battery than when you run it off mains.
Okay, that's odd.
I thought so too, but it is a fun fact.
Hmm. Nice.
It's okay-ish. It's not very powerful. I tend to bring it out when I do some work outside, but it does not have enough suction power to really pull in the sawdust when you are out and about with I don't know the sander or the jigsaw or the whatever. It doesn't have enough suction power to really get it out. Oh, I forgot the router as well. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Me
Oh
too.
my god! I
It,
keep
it,
I keep thinking of devices I own. So funny thing is though, a couple of those devices, like the multi tool or the router, are actually not that often used.
mm,
But the thing is, if you need one, it is so damn convenient to have one.
yep.
Specifically, the router. I mean, how often do you actually create a camphor on a cornered surface, or do you need a I don't know a rail cut for something? Or I mean, that is incidents.
Well,
But it's so convenient if you have that thing that you can just do it,
yeah.
and I really like it.
Yeah. Well, I
How-
use it a lot actually. I mean, you, for corners, you can use a sanding iron. Iron. Wow. A sander to break the corners to make them not that sharp or make them prone to breaking off bits of and stuff like that. So that when you have a router and it's ready to go, it's easy to use it to do
And
that.
your corners are all the same, and
Yeah,
you can actually give them a bit of a
yeah, a look.
arty curve.
Yeah,
You can give them a nice inside curve, an outside curve.
exactly.
It looks like you really did a good job,
Yeah. Well, that's the
and
same.
you did, and you did.
Yeah, that's the same reason I bought a CNC. Then it looks like you did a good job. If you dial the machine in and you put in the code, the G code, just like a 3D printer, when it comes off the machine, it looks like somebody who knows what he's doing has created it. So I mean, I obviously can program the thing, but making something true and square is uh, it's a question of attention, and I rather put the attention into the computer, and then everything is repeatable instead of
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I have the same thing with 3D printing. I am not a printer tinkerer, not at all. I've got an Ender 3, and everyone who knows a bit about 3D printing will now laugh at me. Say, why on earth did you buy an Ender 3 if you don't like tinkering with the printer itself? Because
yeah,
that thing is the only thing you can get that to work is to tinker with it. And you're right. I mean, that is true. This is first of all, it's a beginner's 3D printer. That's the reason why I bought it, because it was bloody cheap and I wasn't really sure if I would be into 3D printing. So I bought this thing just as a gimmick. I think it was 120 or 150 euros or ish something.
yeah.
I bought it just to give it a go and see if I like it and get started with it. And yes, I like it, but and this is also true for everything in the workshop. I really started to like it when I actually started to design my own stuff.
Yeah.
Right, so you can download pre-built, pre-designed stuff from Thingiverse or Thangs.com or whatever, um, from here to eternity, and print them out and be happy with it. I mean, and I just yesterday I downloaded these things because I was too lazy to design them myself. These are clamps to actually mount a power strip to the wall.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And they are very, very simplistic, easy, and they are quite sturdy. So
yeah.
I looked at them on Thingiverse because sometimes you just look there to get some inspiration. Because I was actually going to design them myself, and then I found these, and it was like, you know what, I'm not going to do that. But honestly, designing your own stuff and then actually creating it, I find far more valuable. And now, while I slowly get into the 3D designing part of the 3D printer, now it really makes, it really is fun. It really gives me a satisfying feeling when I design something, I print it, it comes out as I designed it, because well, that's not always the case.
Yeah.
And then you apply it to whatever you thought you were going to use it for, and it actually works and it fits. That is the thing that you do it for. And the same thing goes for everything in your workshop, right? If you build something for your workshop or for your significant other or whatever, if you can go to your DIY store and just buy a package off the shelf, and then hammer it together and so there you go, honey, this is what you wanted.
Yeah.
But how good is it if you can actually just go to the wood shop and buy yourself a couple of a bit of lumber, and then go to your workshop and then actually build the thing customized
Yeah.
just the way you or your significant other wants it. That is so much more satisfying.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And then all those devices come into play, right? The circular saw and the multi-tool and the router and the Rescue Pro saw not so much, but that's
Yeah.
more of the abusing the garden. But that all that stuff, that those are the moments that you actually use all those tools, and then when you're done and it's all sanded and painted, and you put it wherever you wanted to put. That was not bad. Very good English. Wherever you want to put it, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, that is wonderful. And everyone who comes into your room says, you know what, that piece is just brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree. So you mentioned a couple of times your dust collector, the one with batteries, and the other one.
Yeah,
I'm pretty particular when it comes to dust collection.
I'm a mess.
Well, me too. That's why I need it, because I get when I get dust in my nose, you can hear it for a couple of days, just like now.
Yeah,
So
it's not.
I did some what's it called? The air cleaning, air filtering, and also a dust collector with a cyclone. Put it together with a table saw and the CNC, and I'm building now a cage around the CNC so that it's not only airtight in air quotes, but also makes a little bit less noise.
It keeps it contained.
Yeah. So what do you do with dust collection, or what
Well,
are you wanting to do with dust collection?
until recently, nothing at all. So I had the Volt, the little vacuum,
Hmm.
which like I said, is not very good, but it's goodish.
Good enough.
Well, I thought so until actually I was inside my workshop. I thought, can't remember what I was doing. Oh yeah, I was. I've got a belt sander, but that's also a wire tool. But I usually use that to sharpen knives.
Oh,
So
okay.
I don't really count that to my workshop tools, but well, it is a workshop tool. Um, and it was creating so much dust. I was doing like, I
Yeah,
need to do
yeah, yeah.
something about this. Um,
Can't be healthy.
no, definitely not. And it was actually I was feeling it down my throat. It's like, okay, this can't be good,
Yeah,
right? So, warning for all of you out there: if you do DIY and if you're drilling or sanding or whatever, wear a mask or make sure that the dust is sucked away with a vacuum cleaner or something. But do something about it because it's definitely unhealthy to breathe in all that stuff.
yeah,
Um, and I assume that you all want to reach an old age, so do that. So I bought a dust cyclone. Honestly, I never heard of those things
mm,
until I was searching for a workshop vacuum cleaner or workshop vacuum actually,
yeah,
and then you get specifically in YouTube you get 100 million movies and videos on dust collection and all kinds of insane devices with horsepower and huge hoses and
yeah,
enormous dust bags that go up 1.5 meters. And oh my god, I mean, I'm a do-it-yourself amateur. I've got my workshop is literally, I don't know, 3 by 4 meters ish.
yeah,
I don't have room for stuff like that. But then again, and that's always what I find striking about all these people. They record in their workshop, and that workshop is spotless.
yeah. I really like those workshops. I want that.
I really hate those workshops because when I look around in my workshop, it does not look like that.
Mine neither, to be honest.
It's a mess. So this is why I bought a cyclone and a dust bin. So they come together. They are from a company called Dust Commander, if you know them, or if you don't, now you do. Um, and I bought a hose with it. And the idea is that I attach that thing to my shop vacuum cleaner. Um, and hopefully that thing is powerful enough to give me some dust collection, as it's professionally called in my workshop. So it's not so much of a mess.
Yeah,
Right
but
now it is.
okay. I'm not going to say I agree because then you say something about my shop. Um, you got a cyclone. What does that do?
I have no idea.
Okay, well, I do. Uh, it
Tell me,
the
because
whole
I just bought it because you said I should.
yeah, the whole idea of a cyclone is that it splits the big parts and the small parts. So I stop saying so. Next time, say something about it. Well, the cyclone splits the air. It creates a cyclone inside of it, and the parts drop when the cyclone becomes less powerful. So yeah, I know, I said so. It falls down into a bucket instead of your dust collector.
So what actually happens, if I understand it correctly, correct me if I'm wrong. I've got a barrel, and on top of that barrel is the cyclone, and there are two hoses attached to the cyclone. One is going to the vacuum cleaner, one is where the actual dust comes in.
Yep.
And when I switch on the vacuum cleaner and I start sucking dust with the hose that is attached to the suction part,
Yep.
the small dust is dropping into the barrel, and the larger debris is going to the vacuum cleaner, correct?
Almost everything is falling into the bucket from a certain size.
Yeah.
The
Only
smallest.
the big chunks are going to the vacuum cleaner, and only
No,
the small stuff is
no,
dropping out.
everything drops in the bucket.
Oh,
Even the big chunks, and only the smallest uh, air parts that are um, light enough that it will be sucked into the vacuum cleaner will go to the vacuum cleaner.
okay. I thought it was the other way around, because what I was told by some dude on YouTube was that the filter of my vacuum cleaner would not get clogged anymore, because
Correct.
that it does right now,
Yeah.
with all the fine, for instance, sawdust particles,
Yeah.
because they would now all drop into the barrel, and
Correct.
it would not go to the
That's
vacuum
correct.
cleaner.
That's completely correct. And that also goes for the larger chunks because they're
Okay.
heavy and they drop into it.
Okay.
Only the smallest, the micron sized particles will go into
Right.
the dust
Okay.
collector. And the big bonus is that, well, there are more bonuses, but the filter doesn't get clogged. Most of the time, when you got a HEPA filter in it, the air coming out of your vacuum cleaner is cleaner than the air uh,
Yeah, I don't have.
originally. Well, if you got a clean HEPA filter, um, and you don't have to clean your dust collector that much because it falls in a bucket. You can empty that bucket into the garbage, and the whole situation is more manageable. You don't have to put in the paper bags into your vacuum cleaner, and don't have to clean your filters and more like that. No, everything.
A dust collector and a vacuum cleaner are the same, right?
Yeah, in my mind they are.
We use them interchangeably. I mean,
Yeah,
in a professional shop, they mean something else. But I mean, in our do-it-yourself amateur corner, our thingy, it's the dust collector is actually just an
yeah.
industrial vacuum cleaner.
For me, the dust collector is everything that's collecting dust. So the bucket with a cyclone, and as well as
Okay,
the
okay.
motor powering it, like the vacuum cleaner.
Well, I just have a shop vac.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, it's not very powerful. It's 1200 watts. Well, I mean, it sounds very powerful, but for a workshop, it really isn't. What
Yeah,
I understand, I have no idea. So we'll see if it works.
it
But
will.
well, if it works good enough, let's put it
Yeah,
like that. I mean, there is I bought a 6 meter hose. I probably won't use it completely, so I will cut it off at some point. I estimate I will be using roughly 3 to 4 meters.
Hmm.
But that's still a fairly long hose. So I'll see if we have some suction power left when
yeah,
all is mounted, and
yeah. Probably you do because you don't have to put in a filter bag. At least I wouldn't. So the
there is one in there, I think. But
yeah, but you lose a bit of suction power, and it's not necessary because everything goes into the bucket. So why
should
wouldn't
be.
you? Yeah,
But like I said, I still have to experience that, so I have no idea how good that will work.
yeah. I'm gonna make a point for one of the next episodes to talk about that.
Now,
I'm
how did it go?
curious. Yeah, yeah. And when you look at all the tools in your shop, what is one tool that you think, well, it's a nice tool, but why did I buy it? I hardly use it. I could probably use something better or different.
I don't know. Use something better or different? I don't, not so much. Um, the multi tool comes to mind.
Hmm.
Uh, if you know when you shop for tools, you look at what can it all do?
Yeah,
What
the kid and the
uh,
candy store.
exactly? Yeah, what attachments does it have? What accessories does it have? What kind of work can it do? And if you look at this multi tool, it is really impressive, right? You have all kinds of blades. It can do sanding. It can do cutting. It can go through wood, through plastic, through metal, through. I don't know, all kinds of applications for it. But in the end, that thing is mostly on the shelf,
Hmm. Yeah.
really.
Yeah. I can imagine. Yeah.
The thing that really, really I have not touched in quite a while is the column drill,
Hmm.
and I actually am planning to use that more. But I really, up to now, I had no point using it.
Yeah, and you drill straight, so that's not a problem.
Well, I don't often drill holes in wood that need to be exactly the same and straight.
Hmm.
So I don't really use it that much. I used it once and then very intensely
Hmm.
to actually create the walk-in closet for my wife.
Hmm.
Um, we live quite near under the roof, so we have the angled edges in our room, and the bedroom is actually large enough to just separate a part off for a walk-in closet, which is wonderful.
Hmm.
Um, so we did put the closets on one hand, and I built a wall out of timber, and then we attached the TV and some lights and some other stuff to it. So that's the one side of the wall. On the other side are the cupboards and the shelves. And then if you turn around 90 degrees, no, 180 degrees, because you have to turn around completely, you have these angled edges from the roof,
Yeah.
and they go quite far down. So that was a lot of room that was wasted because
Hmm.
you can't stand there. So it's not that you walk into that. You just, I, I get to this part, and then then the roof goes down. But it was like almost a meter of room that was then left unused. So I thought up, you know what? How about when I get a piece of metal or a piece of aluminum angle, a 90 degrees strip,
Yeah.
and then I drill holes in one end every 10 centimeters. I could just hang my clothes on there
Hmm.
and mount that to the angled part of the roof and make use of that space, which I normally couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
So we tried that out, and it actually works super.
Hmm.
So I went back to the DIY store, and I bought I think 8 or 9 of these aluminum strips,
Hmm.
and then I had to drill them all.
Oh my.
So this is where the drill actually comes in, because well then we marked them all in, and I just drilled them all like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was superb. That it We actually wore out through 3 drills,
Yeah. Hmm.
but the drill itself superb, and all the holes were straight and all the holes were spot on, and we didn't have any issues with it. And well, we're using it every day now, so
Hmm.
that was a spot on solution. And that was what I was referring to earlier. That is something that you think it up, you execute it, and then
Yep.
it actually works, and you use it in your everyday life. That is so satisfying.
Yeah.
So that is what I used it for initially, and now, like I said, I don't think I've touched it in maybe a year or so.
Hmm. Okay. Now, for me, it's the table saw. I don't know if I would purchase a table saw again. I use it a lot, but I still need to use another saw when I saw different panels, like the one at 244 by 122 centimeters.
Yeah,
the large ones,
the large plates. Yeah,
the 4x8
yeah.
foot, I think. I still need something like a plunge saw with a guide rail to saw that, because my table saw is not that big that I can do it on there. When I would start my shop now, I really would purchase a plunge saw instead of the table saw.
Or a
Yeah,
really big table saw.
yeah, yeah, or a big table saw with a panel saw, actually.
I was actually planning on buying a table saw, and then listening to your argument there, and thinking about where I would put it and what I would do with it. I actually canceled that idea just because of that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking about integrating it into a table so that I can actually make use of it. I put a big table in front of it so that I can use large panels on it. But then I still need to pre-saw them before I put them on a table saw. It's like an
Kind of
acrobatic
defines the
tour.
purpose, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Well, so with that, we know what's in our shops. Do you have a tip for our listeners besides dust collection, obviously?
um, well, not this week actually. Do you have one?
Yeah, I do. I do. I bought a Japanese pull saw. In Europe, we have saws that go you push on. Well, actually, you shouldn't, but you push on the hand saw to cut wood. The Japanese pull saw works in reverse. When you pull the saw, it saws. Well,
Okay.
it's a saw, and it's different method, a different feeling. You got more control, and I would argue that you can saw a beam or plank faster than with a regular saw.
All
So
right.
that would be my tip next to dust collection, obviously.
I have a mitre saw.
The what?
I have a mitre saw.
Yeah, I have two, but if you put something together, you drill the hole
Right.
in it, you
Right.
put a
Right.
screw in it, and then you want to close off that thing, you put in a dowel, and then you want to saw that dowel. You can do that with a
Yeah.
regular saw. That's not very nice and hard, and that's better with a Japanese pull saw. Even sawing, I must admit, I sometimes pull out the Japanese pull saw for sawing instead of my miter saw, because it makes a lot of noise, and it's
And
not
a lot
that.
of dust.
Yeah, and it's not that fast when I do it myself, but I'm getting pretty close.
All right. Oh, good tip.
Yeah. So with that, thanks for listening, and hope to see you next time.
Next time, I might actually talk about Ceph and my Turing Pi cluster if I get it to work.
Oh my goodness, I want to know. I want to know.
Well, not successful right now.
So thanks for listening, and see you next time.
See you all.